Welcome back to Afternoon Express. We trust that you are having a gorgeous, glorious afternoon so far. Now, there are times when our creativity comes from a deeper place than just talent. Sometimes brilliance is born out of sheer necessity. Now, Nhlanganiso Nkunzi is a good example of exactly that. He joins us now to chat about his incredible creations called MOS Wear.
I love it all. Now connect with us online. If you have any questions for Nhlanganiso, tweet us at Afternoon Chat using the hashtag Afternoon Express or comment on our Facebook page. Welcome to the show, gentlemen.
Thank you for having me.
Looking so suave and dapper.
So I absolutely love reading the behind the scenes of people. I always want to know what the deeper story is. And my favorite line of your bio reads, "I am the product of a domestic worker's resilience." Yeah. What a great ode to your mother. Tell me about your story. Unpack that for us.
Well, my father was an alcoholic. He was both feared both in the community and in the household. Yeah. So at about 6, my mom had to run away, basically. We came from school and my mom wasn't there. Yeah. So we were not sure what was happening, only to realize that my mother had left because of my father's abuse. Yeah. And I became a statistic of a child-headed household at about 6. I had 2 siblings, and having basically to provide for my sisters meant we had to leave from ends meet from our neighbors, who at some point told their kids not to play with us because they knew that we would stay for dinner and that's the only time we'd eat. Oh. And well, fast forward to now, life's changed now.
That is incredible. What a touching story, and I'm sure so many South Africans can identify with it, where you see a community rallying behind a family, but sometimes that's just not enough. How has that helped you seek out opportunities and drive those opportunities until you get what you desire?
Well, because we came basically from nothing, each and every opportunity I could find, I had to maximize. Yeah. The first being, when my mother started working, she basically sent money home for us to go back to school, but the money never got to the kids because we were being looked after by the uncles. And as a result, eventually, when she found out that we had dropped out of school, she basically tried to come and pick us up. And then we moved into this white family that basically she worked for, and they put us through school. And it's been basically a whirlwind for my mom, but because she's a powerful, praying woman, we are who we are today because of her belief. Yeah. And I'm grateful for that.
You know, these are such beautiful stories, and this is the story of Africa. There's just millions and millions of children that have got similar stories to you. But now, what separates you from, you know, those millions of children? What made you decide to say, you know what, forget this, I'm not going to be poor again. I'm not going to you know, have that, you know, that be the, you know, the narrative of my life again. So now enter MOS.
Well, MOS basically started not because I was running away from poverty. It started off because growing up, basically, you get shunned because you're poor. Yeah. And as a result, I was not the vocal type. I find it easier to write than to speak.
I heard you can rap as well.
I try.
We just won't let you dance because we heard that's not your strong point, which I don't believe, by the way.
So basically, the human body is a walking billboard and a canvas. What better way to speak a message than to use a walking billboard? Yeah. And hence, MOS was born. It started off with me just basically making stuff for myself. Yeah. And then people who saw then had their own ideas and asked, could I do this, could I do that? And I basically became that platform. Yeah. And as it grew, people started asking for different things. And because I'm an avid lover of hip-hop, my inspiration comes from music videos. Yeah. And as such, the brand itself has continued to grow from stride to stride. Yeah. And we're here today.
That is so beautiful. Amazing. And your start also with music and, well, with everything that you do, I have to say, all-encompassing. You also were a chauffeur in the mix. Yeah. I mean, how has all of
Nothing stopping us, nothing.
And that's what I want to find out. You know, sometimes you have to do what you don't want to do to get to where you want to be. Yeah. How have all these stepping stones kind of led you and built this resilience behind the machine that is MOS?
I think basically you come to a point where you realize that each opportunity, like I said before, has to be maximized. You can't pick and choose. I mean, when I moved to Cape Town, I just completed my honors degree in community development, but I couldn't get a job. Yeah. So the first thing I could do was I started off washing the cars of the person who basically I became a chauffeur for. Yeah. And he understood and fell in love basically with my humility. Yeah. And I started driving his daughter because he lived within this area and he was afraid of his daughter get into music school on her own, so he gave me a job. And basically, that's how I moved on. And from there, he moved me from that chauffeur job to a company of his. And the community development stuff basically kind of moved off. I ended up in IT. And I'm currently studying IT as well at the moment.
Amazing. So. Can I tell you, people don't buy things. People buy people.
True.
And I think anyone who gets to meet you will literally buy. You could be selling anything, and I think somebody would buy it. However, you aren't. You are selling incredible, beautiful clothes. Should we have a look and see what you brought us today? So we're going to start with this amazing collection. I can already see that it looks absolutely, absolutely stunning. Yeah. So let's start off with our first model. In an outfit that I want. So tell us a little bit about your inspiration behind each of these pieces.
Well, here we're trying to move away from basically only being streetwear and becoming closer and closer into casual. And this is something that you could wear going to work, you could wear at home during the weekend. It's just a beautiful look. And I love the black and white and the patterns on the actual material. So it gives that little flair onto the designs themselves and makes the person. They say if the person is confident, then they glow, and you can see the model glowing already.
I mean, she's feeling herself, and I'd feel myself too in that incredible look. I mean, whilst the next model is walking in, you decided on the name MOS. What's the reasoning behind it? What's the explanation? What's the motive?
Well, MOS is basically a South African slang. I mean, Cape Townians would know this. Yes, exactly.
Oh, MOS.
So it basically was an infusion of that, and it's also an abbreviation for men of stature. So it's not just the abbreviation, but it's got a deeper meaning to it.
Stunning.
Very cool.
And
it's just so hot.
A very classic little white number. You can't go wrong. I mean, you can basically rock that wherever.
Let's have a look at the first piece from the men's range. And so you do men, women, and everything's available online?
Yes, we do men, women, kids. We try to cater for everyone.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And how often do you come out with new seasons and new...
We've tried to move away from doing seasons because it kind of limits you. Because sometimes people don't have enough money to buy stuff within the season. So it's basically a flair of the moment. And we're always in production, and we're always looking for different ideas to express ourselves. So it's always an ongoing thing. And with the South African textile industry, sometimes basically by the time you get to winter, people are still wanting summer stuff.
I know, so
I went to the shop today and saw winter clothes going into stores.
They're a little eager.
No, I wanted to cry. But you're right, seasonal is very difficult to match.
I've seen different styles so far that you've played with. I mean, from the classic suits, then debunking it and mashing it up and kind of mismatching the different things. And you also have quite athleisure wear as well. Yeah. I mean, when you think of a MOS person, quintessential person who's going to go out and buy the brand, what does that person look like? Who are you aiming to please?
I basically make stuff that I would like to wear, first and foremost. And secondly, I make stuff that I think some people would look good in. For an example, the athleisure aspect, everybody's into trying to lose weight, the Herbalife movement is going on, and people are looking more to express themselves and take full control of their diets and stuff like that. So we're trying to cater for everyone who's basically asking us to make them stuff.
Yeah. This is so, so cool. And I'm actually looking at some, your use of colors, your cuts, all really good.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Okay, this is amazing. This looks like something that you wear, like obviously that athleisure, it's easy to travel in.
Yes.
That's a good one to fly in, actually.
I was going to say this is definitely an airport look for me.
Yeah, love.
Beautiful. So moving forward into 2020, do you see your line evolving, shaping, moving, or do you kind of want to stick to what's working and keep pushing out magic?
Well, 2020 is a different ball game for us. We're about to change quite a lot because there's a lot of people kind of doing the same thing. And one of the funny things you want to know is I've got some of the brands within Cape Town basically going onto our page and taking the screenshots of the stuff we make, sending it to our CMTs and asking them to replicate that.
No,
so that's for real.
That's not cool.
Well, it's inspiring because if you're doing something that some people like and they want to come to you, it still kind of gives you that belief that you've got a winning formula and you always should carry on with it.
But I was going to say that's quite an awkward moment.
Well, my CMT laughs about it all the time.
Yeah. But they say the biggest form of flattery is duplication and imitation. So it means that you're doing it well and you're doing the right thing. This entire line is very colorful, playful, but of course you can kind of wear any of the pieces as you like. Is that what you're
time,
going?
yes.
This is definitely my favorite piece out of your collection, this jacket. It is gorgeous. If you had that in a girl's size, like a little bunny jacket, oh, it would totally be in my wardrobe. It's so hot.
Well, I call that the addiction jacket. I mean, it's full of all the addictions in the world.
Yeah.
The time, I mean, the drugs, the money, the pizza. It's basically what every other, it fits everyone who's addicted to a certain thing.
I'm addicted to life.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm addicted to music. I feel that. Well, thank you so much. I don't know if you want to kind of spit us a rhyme. I'm joking. I'm not going to do that for you.
No, please do. Oh, please do.
Can we put you on the
I
spot?
I always spit a rhyme, so you have to do it now.
But I have the honor of listening to you spit a rhyme.
I promise you, I'm not going to put the country through it again. No, because I have a lot, but I'll do it for you in the ad break if you do it for me first now.
Interesting. You drive a hard bargain. But I think my daughter might disown me after this.
Okay, let's not embarrass the daughter. Finally, your last sentiments when you look at your collection and you're kind of feeling the energy that is radiating from these models.
Well, first and foremost, I'm thankful that we're here today. I mean, there was no way in my life I'd ever dreamt that we'd get to this point. And the fact that we're sitting here and I'm talking to you guys today is a big achievement for me. So win or lose, how far we go, I mean, we've been on the Express show. What more can you want?
Thank you so much. Now, join us after the break as all of our amazing guests take one last seat on our couch. We'll be right back.